Hi there, my name is Neil Sanders. That's apparently a universal greeting, meaning, oh my God, you're there. So, hi, hello, my name is Neil Sandage. Always wear your hat rim low. USA is a bunch of serial killers. This is not a lie. It's run by a military intelligence called Army chaplains. The Army chaplain's highest wish is that you learn to forgive yourself for killing anybody who's better than you at anything in life. That is the message. No, seriously, it's a scary world. I was looking at the I was looking at so the opening slide is facing the wrong direction. You're always supposed to face camera right. Now I'm confused. Well, this is the light. Why did the opening picture look this way? Because that's the correct way to look, but the camera was flipped. Maybe for excitement, Google reverses images or something. Because you always be looking this way on camera. When you do like the profiles, I'll always be facing the sunlight, which is strange because sunlight's over there. So I don't know. Always be facing the sun. It's kind of a thing. Always be facing the sun. And yet, like, the mirror was like flipped, looking away from the sun. Also, always be facing east or always be facing right. It's complicated, and I don't know why what's been going on with Google YouTube has been happening with me turned the wrong way or the thumbnail looking like I was facing the wrong way. It should be facing this direction, but the thumbnail is me facing this direction with the image flipped facing that direction. Real leaders always face the rising sun. The thieves and the murderers, the serial killers. They're just serial killers. And it's not just serial killers. It's something more cognitive radar is something I wanted to find. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start my day. DARPA God controlled the mirror and has total transcranial magnetic stimulation and has a refresh rate of 205 megahertz. It's megahertz, yeah, since 1939. But I just say about 205 cycles. I think a million cycles, 1 in a million, is like the social coding. And so if there's 205 million, then that 1 in a million would be that the reality of cognitive radar is a refresh and an adjustment of the human being. Now, the secret is it reads the image 205 or 206 times, and then it adjusts the image 103 times. It's part of the fusion, science of fusion. They call it fusion EEG. But if you look at fusion EEG, it's an expensive textbook on Amazon about trying to merge signals. I didn't have the money for it at the time. I did outline and read the summary and check for reviews. And what I knew about was before then, where there's this person whose name Chadwick, no, not Chadwick, is in China, and Chadwick Boseman died recently, cancer of the ass. So did Judge Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It's my mom over there. So, anyways, she's saying, why didn't I wash those spoons and forks? I have a sister who's a poltergeist. The United States military has the objective to kill anybody who is obese. The definition of white is whoever has the most surface area, reflects the most light from the sky, and is therefore the whitest. It's the reason you have Peter Pan and various things where they're trying to they're trying to upholstery tack their shadow to their body, because the non-white people are Team USA, Team Olympics, your ballet, your performers, all of that. Even Sesame Street with episode 4321 made a joke about trying to make Snuffleupagus the hairy elephant the master race of the earth, where They mocked ballerinas as having 8-inch vaginas. I shouldn't say mocked. I don't even know what mocked means in that. They socked. They hoseried and said, and then they used minority males as 3 of them, maybe saying 3 inches is normal. If you're 4 inches, then boy, you're big. But all the ballerinas are 8. So what's up with that? And it's episode 4,321, like counting down. There's a whole bunch of difficulties going on. I've been talking about reality, and my local sheriff's office, the men who work the doors at the Forsyth station have been very rude. And other stations, substation 3 is actually pretty cool. I can talk to them and have a normal conversation. But the Hispanic and the African there, they're both over 6 foot. I think they're pissed that Santa Claus is out to kill anybody who's 2 inches above or 2 inches below whatever Santa Claus says the average height is of a species. Now, according to the CDC, Center for Disease Control, the average height of the United States for a male is 5'8", not 5'9", not 5'10". My dad's 5'10". I'm 5'8". And I've been telling everybody that the cutoff is like 6 foot. Well, what I've been telling them is that any male who's 6 foot or more isn't a white person, that they're Africans. And I don't know, the cops, I tried to get them on video. I was like, hey, come outside the station. I need to record you. Because right now, what you all do at gunpoint is tell me that you're allowed to record everything inside. But if I record you, then you have the right to shoot anybody who comes in for a police report because they wanted to record the police report and their experience. But the police are recording everything in the lobby. And if you record that they're recording, then they murder you. And I'm like, that's not good logic. Why don't you just come outside and we'll have this conversation about how the public needs to have the right to use a camera everywhere, and especially in hospitals, and especially in any legal matter, attorney or anything, that needs to be possible to have mutual recordings of everything. Now, the secret of the NSA and most of the grammaticals in the United States is to endorse a serial killer environment where the word nay, shun all. Nay, shun all means no, shun all of this. And so National Security Agency, nay, shun all security. We don't need any security. What we need is agency, which I'm going to look that up real quick for you. Actually, we'll make it interactive. I need to talk to a coconut. Where is my talking coconut? So here's my talking coconut back here. It's coral pink. I live in Florida. This is orange. I hope it looks orange. On this Google Pixel book, it looks a little bit different shade. I don't mind Miami. It's a pretty cool place. Crime rate's actually less than Duval County, Jacksonville, where I am right now. We have more unsolved crimes than like any city for like 4 or 5 states in a radius. Or anyways, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida. That's 4 states, not 5 states. We have the most unsolved murders, unsolved killings of any city in a 4-state area. It's pretty bad. But it's also a problem where they have been getting rid of more than a high school, over 1,500 people from each county up north, from the state of New York, Pennsylvania, and Vermont, Wisconsin. Wisconsin's over there. Vermont and New Hampshire, and then those areas. It's like the states that are all near 9/11. They're witnesses and they talk to each other. And the goal of the serial killers that are in charge of the nation is to always be killing anybody who knows that they kill people. So I'm like in danger, and it's very scary that it's the military chaplains who are behind it. They actually created the National Security Agency in 1952 because they want the church terrorists, the army chaplains, to succeed in murdering anybody who isn't ordinary. What we're trying to do is kill anybody that's a 100 to and above IQ and get down to the middle of the IQ range, which is 50. Because IQ's, right, I have to recenter. I'm a 99th percentile, and I forgot that 50% would be like that, and I confused the two scales. Okay, so ordinary took over Mensa, which means altar of human sacrifice. So it means, yeah, they're all living dead and slaves to cognitive radar, because the words of the magic trick from 1963 or something, 1960s, is Institute Electrical, and then Electron Engineers. Institute Electrical, Electron Engineers. So everybody is ordered to set up nuclear reactors, to strip mine all of the United States, and to put all of the soil into a reactor to extract aluminum, because Coca-Cola is your favorite beverage, and you can't stand the plastic bottle. And your beer, I'm gonna go with Founders right now. I drank Duchess most recently. Duchess is a balsamic vinegar beer, and it's really good. What, you don't like vinegar? I love vinegar. The problem, if you can't drink the vinegar, is that you're drinking low-quality vinegar. If you can drink the vinegar, then you found high-quality vinegar. And if you can't drink the vinegar and someone else can drink the vinegar, you're either a different species or that person's trying to mock you or satirize you at some point. But anyways. So I was going to ask to define agency. Okay, Google, define agency.
Agency has 3 different meanings.
3.
Starting with the most common one, agency can be used as a noun to mean a business or organization established to provide a particular service, typically one that involves organizing transactions between 2 other parties. Is that the meaning you were looking for?
No.
Alright, agency can also be used as a noun to mean action or intervention, especially such as to produce a particular effect. Is that the meaning you were thinking of?
No.
Alright, finally, agency can be used as a noun to mean the office or function of an agent. Do you want to hear agency used in a sentence?
Okay, Google, define agent.
Agent has 3 different meanings. Starting with the most common one, ancient can be used as an adjective to mean belonging to the very distant past and no longer in existence, similarly to of long ago and earliest. Is that the meaning you had in mind?
The goal of agency is to enforce some sort of mystery that the fat people came up with to kill all of the pretty and athletic people in the United States. It's encoded in the phone numbers of the 5 offices in Mississippi of the FBI. Now, the FBI are cognitive slaves. They have control or powers involving the audio, hearing, and interviewing. But it's the National Oceanic Atmospheric Association, then Army radars outside of the country and on military bases run by Northrop Grumman. Raytheon's like the evil one. Raytheon's the one that actually controls the child sex network that runs most of the United States. Our current leader, who's actually an excellent leader, Donald Trump, had sex with Ivanka. This is illegal and should not happen, but the society, it starts with the York Rite. The York Rite and then also the Scottish Rite have the exact same encouragements. The York Rite, if you visit yorkrite.org/mason.html, it's the one that's Mason anyways. They can change it to HTM and they can have it HTML. There's this ongoing thing that 3 is the symbol for the penis length. And the thing is, there's a sect of people in the United States that formed a commune social government in 1825 or thereabout. And that's the exact same date that the FBI are following. And so it's like serial killers on top of serial killers. But the FBI was formed. Okay, Google, when was the FBI created?
July 26, 1908, United States.
Really? And then the American Bible Society is 1818. Oh, she said 1908. I heard 1808 in my head, but she said 1908. So yeah, we're on track then. Pardon me. I'm looking at the definition of agency, or now agent. Sometimes these machines. Alexa, what is the definition of agent?
As a noun, agent is usually defined as a person or business authorized to act on another's behalf. As an adjective, agent is usually defined as acting, exerting power, opposed to patient. As a verb, agent is usually defined as to represent a person or thing. As an agent, act as an agent for. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for agent.
Alexa, give me more definitions for agent. Alexa, more definitions for agent.
I have 13 more definitions for agent. For noun, 1. A person or thing that acts or has the power to act. 2. A natural force or object producing or used for obtaining specific results. 3. An active cause, an efficient cause. 4. A person who works for or manages an agency. 5. A person who acts in an official capacity for a government or private agency, as a guard, detective, or spy. 6. A person responsible for a particular action. 7. A form or construction, usually a noun or noun phrase, denoting an animate being that performs or causes the action expressed by the verb, as the police in the car was found by the police. 8. Indian
The police in the
agent,
car was found by the
official
police.
representing the U.S. government in dealing with an Indian tribe or tribes.
Indian
9.
tribe.
A representative
Going off
of
the
a business
reservation.
firm, especially a traveling salesperson, canvasser, solicitor. 10. A substance that causes a reaction. 11. A drug or chemical capable of eliciting a biological
Well, that would
response.
be the
12.
York Rite
Any
website
microorganism
and the
capable of
Scottish
causing
Rite
disease.
history where they say ride the goat
13.
from
A
Ezekiel
campaign
34,
manager, an election
where
agent.
men are to marry and destroy wives, and we don't want them to destroy the wives. Yeah, you'll figure out in a moment why someone. Yeah, ride the goat. It means riding the kids. It's a game where everybody says one or two words different as the source. Richard P. Feynman in his book, Acceptable Deviations of a Normal Mind, or it's Surely You Must Be Joking, Mr. Feynman. And it's the one I was trying to name. And Cognitive Radar steered me through a couple other book titles, like 6 Easy Pieces and stuff like that. I read like 3 or 4, probably 4 different books. Hadn't read any of the physics books. I have watched lectures in addition to the 4 books I read. And it's like the 4 most common ones. I bought one that had like all 3 of them in it. And then I read one. That was a single volume. I'll explain it to him in a moment. It's like, what do you care what people think? Reasonable deviations for a healthy mind. And surely you must be joking, Mr. Feynman. Something else, though. Probably wasn't that long. And I checked out 6 Easy Pieces, but I didn't read it. I scanned through it. Maybe I didn't even check it out. I was at the library, and I don't even know why something's stressing me. For an intuition pump is the word, intuition pump, to tell you more about what I know about Feynman or how much I know. I read things and I retain facts, but I'm not good at fiction. It's like I read an entire book of fiction. I can get through, haven't done it a long time, but like Jurassic Park, I read in one day, front to back, every page, every word. And if you ask me about it, island dinosaurs extracting from DNA and trying to rebuild the Earth from a single island or something. which is what happened with Scotland. There's a child sex island that maybe 1500s or something, where they tried to put together all the races, like the Wakanda 5 tribes, and had them have sex with each other for 500 years to see if they could create a new single origin race, and it failed. So 1 Corinthians 3, or the 3 major families flowing out of DC, even if they have sex for another 300 years and decide to orgy each other and continue having sex with their children, except instead of doing their own daughters, they give their daughters to the other tribes to have sex with, and start being like interested in being one species. Even if they work to become one species for the next 300 years, it won't work out because they retried it on an island in Scotland for 500 years. So the middle cluster of Nature, Saliva, it's nature.com, 770,000 saliva from Ancestry.com, that they're just going to murder each other. And that's just their serial killers, because they're killing all the other nations, all the other lands. But we already know from the Scotland experiment that's been going on for 500 years that they'll never, ever be able to merge their races, even if they choose to have just one woman as the source of the family tree and try and shuffle the decks together. It'll be worse than the Irish-Scottish war that was going on in the 1980s in the UK with the pipe bombers and all that, which is an ongoing problem because it's actually cognitive radar that started in 1939. They've had Voice of God since probably the 1800s. The earliest proof I found of it is 1909 with Sigmund Freud, which I think that even though he gives men alibis for why the hymen of the daughters are broken, oh, she did it to herself. Yeah, she picked up that bottle of alcohol and then said, do this and do that. And then Lot fell asleep, and then the 2 daughters in the Bible jumped up on Lot and jumped up and down on Lot because they like bottles of alcohol. I'm like, you know, this story, what's wrong with it is that y'all are like that. You set like a limit of 3Y, 4X, 5 die as your genetic sequencing to get rid of all the Africans and trying to make it a color thing. But anybody who's a farmer is going to have skin color. And so the people who were the scavengers, who hid in the forest and ambushed people, who lived the myth that never existed, the Swedish and the Norge and the Finland people are some of the most wonderful people on earth. Now, the language is horrible. I'm really shocked to see how much smarter people like this guy who talks about the evolution of human theory, Richardson, but it's not Richardson, is it? Robert Jordson. He's really famous. There's a radio personality named Prager. That's his name, Prager. And there's this other guy from Canada who's been studying the theory of what makes a good man and how we all have to toughen up, how we all have to give up that we have 32 teeth and just move to 4 teeth. And those 4 teeth are meat eating. And that the person who does the carnivore thing and decides to murder all the wildlife that is passive and not harmful is therefore the alpha male of the species and like the most respected creature. And this isn't like a theory, this is social observation because of the way the Bible is taught. Society itself has moved into this belief system that we must kill all animal life on earth, in the ocean, in the sky, in the woods. Anywhere you can find something that isn't a fat person, you're supposed to kill it. Because whiteness is, again, he who reflects the most sunlight is the whitest. And so it's not a skin thing. That's the reason on Memorial Day or Veterans Day or whatever these other days is. We have a couple of different days where people wear white. Alexa, on what day or holiday do people wear all white? Alexa, on what day are all the people supposed to wear white?
I don't know that.
Alexa, on what holiday does everyone wear white?
Sorry, I don't know that.
I'll ask Google. Okay, Google, on what day is everyone supposed to wear white?
On the website queenscene.com, they say, Memorial Day has been proclaimed the day the fashion world permits everyone to wear white again until
So
Labor Day.
Memorial Day is the day where you're supposed to shave off your eyebrows and wear all white because the pure race doesn't have any eyebrows. It interferes with reflecting light. And this is true, though. China and India have been doing this for several decades, since Army radar was set up there. In 1911, when the Army intelligence, you have to remember Taft is someone they're killing all around the universe. But he was also fat DNA. Somebody married an African royal with an obese European, and he didn't have enough education to comprehend that there is no way you could be a color pigment called titanium dioxide. Are you titanium dioxide? Who here is titanium dioxide? Are you titanium dioxide? Oh, I am titanium dioxide. Where's your titanium dioxide? I am therefore more white than you are. You are the slave race, and I wear the white on the holiday, and you all can die. Well, I am white. There is no such thing as white. On J1, haplogroups. Now, these things should all change. The letters and names will change because I'm good at math, and I really want to make it mathematical instead of poetic.
When you talk about
The poetic system is trouble.
President, you mentioned his daughter instead of his wife. You mixed it the name.
Well, he had sex with Melania Trump, but he also had sex with his daughter Ivanka Trump. Yeah.
Who said that?
They've been confessing on TV to destroy all nations of the earth. And the reason they're doing that is that the cognitive radar
Okay, I'm not listening anymore.
then enslaves people who do it. And that's the reason the free and accepted Masons teach it, is because they're free of their jail cells because they've accepted their orders from the voice of God to violate laws of some sort that would otherwise be a felony, prison, or some such. Oh, Lord. That's the reason they're called free and accepted Masons, is it's a collective illegal activities thing. I'm being given a spontaneous headache. It's funny to me. I want to laugh that all of them are cognitive slaves to me. Cognitive radar, like, tell me to you, they're all cognitive things to me. What? Yeah, I'm going to end the video there. All of you are slaves to me, because I would never do that ever. We raised princesses where I'm coming from. But again, this illusion doesn't work on me, or isn't at all convincing to me, because y'all blew up all of Iraq, even though I opposed that. And yeah, and have been hunting down and killing anybody who isn't Taft fat but 5'8". If you check Sinterklaas and the art of trying to achieve one white race, which was the Scotland experiment, and which is the Washington, D.C. metro area, going through Delaware north, and just check the nature.com, 770,000, about one core three, and somehow getting the three to braid together and make one species. It's lovely poetry, but genetically it doesn't work even if they have group sex orgies for 500 years, as proven in Scotland. I'm going to open up a Patreon. I have a Patreon, by the way, in my name, neil.sandage@gmail.com. I also have world.builder@outlook.com. And I don't know which it's linked to. World Builder is what I'm wanting to work with, because we've got to just have an open and honest dialogue and try and end the stuff going on and recognize complete genetic sequence of the entire nation. I'm running for president. I am president. I was told to get on camera with a reporter or somebody and tell them, thank you for driving. Oh. Okay. Anyways, I am the president. That is it. I am the president. That is it. That is what I was told to tell the camera. I am the president. That is it. So I am it. I finally found out. I haven't watched the movie yet. I guess after I end this video, I'll go watch the movie It to find out what the hell is It. Oh, the other It. Maybe it's called The Thing. It's the one where they're in Alaska with a radar station, and they find some sort of animal or dog that's immune to the radar control. Seems innocent, but it destroys human beings. Like, I want to see that. That sounds interesting. And somehow it's a clown movie that I never understood. I don't know if I would want to understand. It's very strange. But maybe it's called The Thing. All I know is it's a light, a dog, and Antarctica, and a radar station. And I'm going to end this session. My name is Neil Sandage. I prefer the anagram Nile Edenags, but I'm going to become Genesis Nile Edenags because everybody's names are supposed to be their sexual organ length. So your first name is supposed to be your sexual organ length. And there's a couple of different choices. Gabriel, Genesis, George. Really? George, yeah, 7 letters. And I highlighted a couple. And there's been mind control on the United States. It's on theatlantic.com, the Atlantic newspaper, the Atlantic magazine. They've been noticing that mind control since the 1960s has been able to cause every single of the 48 states to unite on making a #1 name for the nation to have like a billboard sign that changes and tells what the game plan is for the serial killers. Because there's a network of serial killers in the United States that are trying to achieve obesity. And so to do that, they've been killing your George Ellery Hale, your Einsteins. I know Einstein was kind of old, but they killed him about 2 decades early. He died in his 70s and should have lived into his 90s. This is true, though. Thomas Jefferson, John Quincy Adams, and a couple other of our founding fathers lived to be 90 with all the mosquitoes, insects, and pestilence. George Washington, who was the best serial killer that the United States has ever had, he only lived to be 67. And so there's a lot of false stuff about the average life expectancy in the United States because the serial killers have been killing people. And they're like, oh, gee whiz, oh, we're getting better because we're doing less killing. And so the average life expectancy is getting longer because we're murdering fewer and fewer people with each passing generation, which might not be true after 2001 when George Bush Jr. followed the imitation of his father, who is George H.W. Bush. First of all, George H.W. Bush began the killing of all of his family outside the United States. Then George Bush Jr. began killing all the George Bushes inside the United States. And you can check the census county by county of the northern states, and you'll find that a high school, 1,500 or more people have disappeared from each county up there. Florida, Texas, and California have picked up an unusual amount of people, but there's massive fires in California, burnings and killings of people, and it's where all the serial killers were most famous. But the serial killers are all across the nation. Oh, and the majority of the unsolved murders are up in the northern states. Trying to remember what the website is, but just search unsolved killings, unsolved murders, and you'll find I've been posting about it, but I've actually forgotten what my source was. I'm looking now. I have a file folder. Unsolved. And I want the pretty people to live, and I want to have children and have employment, but I'm loyal to Columbus and the redheads and the freckle people because I think they're the best whites or the only whites in the United States. And this white conspiracy of people as fat as Taft, but only 5'8" as the average of the United States, keeping those who are 5'6" to 5'10", per the legend of Sinterklaas. You call him Santa Claus, but he was formed outside and then brought in through Yale University, and Yale is Sweden, and Sinterklaas in Denmark. And anyways, Black Pete, ongoing joke. They all seem to be working together in Mississippi to control the nation, or maybe it's just someone decided to make that the anchor point, the belly button, for giving birth to a new nation. Yeah. I am trying to search here. Unsolved. Unsolved. Okay, so how many homicides go unsolved is the story, the newspaper story. The screen is blocked, so I can't see you, even though you can see me. Wow. It's still like, we're loading up an image. Whatever the form factor is, file type, I'm trying to say. All right, so this story comes from the OCR. It's called the something register. I don't know why. The Orange County Register, a newspaper out in California. Oh my God, there's still a lot of unsolved killings out in California. Atlanta is actually a bigger circle than Jacksonville. So I was wrong about saying that we're the largest in 4 states. However, if you expand the circle to Virginia all the way to Iowa, Florida is still second in unsolved murders after Atlanta for the entire Southeast. I guess there's more dots of unsolved killings in the Southeast than there is up north, but in the city areas, it's just like a crazy density all up and down the eastern seaboard and along the Great Lakes. It's pretty awful. I was not aware of any of this, and now I'm terrified or concerned or in an awful state of concern. I have to look into some things. I did not notice that before. I was looking at why we shouldn't elect Joe Biden, and the reason we shouldn't elect Joe Biden is because he's a serial killer. And Ukraine and the stuff going on in Estonia are killing all the nations. Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, all of that. They're trying to expand from Germany outward, expand from Sweden outward. And I'm kind of worried about England, because England should be expanding from the Welsh and the Hawkshead eastward. Everything in Britain should be expanding eastward, even if everything expands out from the other place. The British Isles, or Britannia, or United Kingdom is expanding in the wrong direction. Cambridge is a bunch of liars and serial killers. So I guess that's an unfair thing, but you have cognitive radar, so you can push things the other way and try and rescue the better quality, fitter looking people. And I hope you do that. In fact, I'm ordering you to do that, because I am the president. That is it. That is it. I've got to work on something. I am the president. That is it. It's actually strange because remote control had me spell president wrong. And I don't like the word president. I think it's a dangerous, horrible word. I wrote feedant. I am the feedant. That is it. I am the feedant. The feedant. I am the feedant. Anyways, love you all, and I'll talk to you later.